These are the 3 attack strategies you need to use at Town Hall 15 in Clash of Clans. So let's start with something that is easy to deploy. This is using the newest troop, the Electro Titan, with the newly maxed out lightning spell. This works incredibly well on bases where you have easy movement through the base. You've also got lightning spells. You're actually using them to speed up your warden. This is specifically going to be 6 lightning on either a scatter shot or a monolith, and of course only 5 lightning on an inferno. You're going to start off with said Grand Warden. Try to use any balloons to look for any seeking air mines. That's always really important because you want to keep the healers alive. What you should also do at this point is drop in your Quake and your lightning spells to remove something such as a scatter shot. This is going to really help because you'll also use the Flame Flinger. This is typically done near the Grand Warden at the highest level, just so that way you're pretty much guaranteed for the Flame Flinger to get value, such as something like the Town Hall. Once you've cleared one part of the funnel and you're letting your Flame Flinger clear the other side, this is where you'll send the Archer Queen to lure over and control your Warden, while being able to cut off the other side of the funnel and send in your Electro Titans through. Now, there's not really a lot that you can do here, but if you have stuff such as rage spells, they can actually be used at the beginning of the attack where they can actually get a large amount of value. Just keep in mind that the rage does not affect the Electro Titan's aura. It only affects their actual damage. But keep in mind with this attack as well is you'll want to make sure that they go in for key buildings. The Monolith, Infernos, and Eagle are all things that you should try to look for. So try to make sure that you're funneling using the Barbarian King to cut off that funnel and make it easier to control your Electro Titans. This also means you got the Royal Champion on either the back end or to dive into the core for something such as a Monolith or something else worth of value that can easily get you more 3 stars. Next up, we have arguably the strongest and best Town Hall 15 attack right now, the Super Archer Blimp Lalo. This works on a variety of bases, from anti-3s to ring bases. This works really well if you can get anything that hits air. It's all fair game to you. You always want to start this off with balloons and a lava hound, or even using balloons and a Grand Warden. In any case, you could also just use balloons and rocket balloons before you send your blimp in to remove some other structures or look for seeking air mines. That's actually the reason to why you're using the balloons first. In other cases, you'll want to make sure that you're getting a little bit deeper in with the blimp before you drop an invisibility, let anything like wall breakers go off. You'll then use the another invisibility, drop in the clone and the rage, and time your invisibility spells every 4 seconds to get the most value from your super archers, and that way they can clear much more of the base down. So this should allow you to clear a large area to where you can then start in your Sui hero. What is this is using your Barbarian King, Archer Queen, and Royal Champion to clear more of the base down. This is exceptionally good against bases to where you can easily start working yourself down after you cleared using the super archers. You'll want to make sure that you're getting more value and expanding the amount of destruction while you're continuing to work your way in. Using an Ice Golem to tank for your Barbarian King and Archer Queen is always important. Any sort of things like a Headhunter might also help mitigate damage from enemy heroes, while the Royal Champion is going to move in on the other side and helping clear out more defenses for your heroes, so that way the lava loom portion becomes easier. When the lava loom portion is deployed, you want to use that singular lava hound first and send in a couple groups of balloons. Pick a group that you'll want to send the Grand Warden with, and then just use another group. You'll want to make sure that you're using Headhunters to go in for any leftover enemy heroes, specifically either the Royal Champion or the Queen. An early Grand Warden ability is always really good, especially as you get closer to something like the Monolith and air defenses, since they are going to be tough hitting defenses that you're really going to need to get through. From there, you should be able to still move yourself all the way through the base. It's a relatively easy army, just make sure you have cleanup and you'll be safely for an easy 3-star. Now our last attack is considered one of the best attacks at Town Hall 14 that can also be used really well at Town Hall 15. The Super Bowler Smash works on a plethora of different bases. From box bases to ring bases, it does it all. But you're going to be starting this the exact same way with anything. You're going to use the Warden Walk first. If you're going into anything more than 4-point defenses, drop a Rage. This will keep the Warden topped off thanks to the healers. You want to also speed up this Grand Warden with the use of the Baby Dragon. On the other side, you will want to use either the Flame Flinger or the Siege Barrack. Usually the way to determine this is if the base is narrow or a bit more bulkier. If it's a bit more bulky, the Flame Flinger works best. But if the base is more narrow, the Siege Barrack is obviously the best option. You'll want to use the Barbarian King and maybe even Witches with the use of that Siege Barrack to get much more funneling done. Outside of that, you'll want to send in your Super Bowlers with the Ice Golem and Electro Titan. You'll want to use this Electro Titan to get deeper into the base, but also provide a little bit more chip damage and make sure skeletons are not an issue for the Super Bowlers. However, you need to make sure that the healers are connected with your Super Bowlers or they're going to easily die. So you want to make sure that that is the case. Using an early Grand Warden ability as you get into the core is very important, but one of the defenses that's going to stop your whole push into the core is the Monolith. Bring a free spell. It's going to help you a lot as you work yourself in. Usually most of the things die out in the core, which is why you have that back-end Royal Champion. Bring an invisibility or free spell to help her get through something such as a single Inferno. But from there, you'll be able to get a lot of really nice value thanks to the Royal Champion, and of course to her hero pet, Diggy, if you have that available. Outside of that, you should be able to easily work your way through with the use of that Royal Champion, getting much more value and defenses down for the rest of your cleanup, so the Super Bowler Smash works pretty well almost every time. And that's why all three of these attacks are so worth using, because they can pretty much crush almost any base design. Just keep in mind that right now, Town Hall 15, while it isn't completely maxed out, it's still a super entertaining Town Hall, and you can learn a lot from these attacks.